as this team all season?
Well, our energy level was really good because the shots were falling, and the crowd was unbelievable today. It was a great atmosphere, and our guys really responded. And you don't anticipate shooting it that well, but once we got that floor spread and our guys were making plays for each other, we had 26 assists on 30 baskets. And, I've been preaching ball movement all year. The coaching staff has been, and I thought our ball movement today was really good, and that just helped us get going. And with every three, the crowd got louder, and it was just a really good atmosphere today.
You got a sense of start coming at all today? Had any sense before the game?
No. We got together this morning at 9:30, and we didn't have a shoot around. I just talked to him, and we went over a lot of things, with the 1 o'clock start and the late game the other night, and probably ought to do that more often. Maybe that all the shoot arounds we've been doing, and maybe we back off a little bit, but I didn't. I thought it would be a grind. They've been playing so well, and with Trier back, their depth is so good, and so no, I didn't have any idea. That's I always tell our guys before the season we're going to play 30 games, and 10 of them we're going to shoot it really well, 10 of them average, and 10 of them we're not going to shoot it with the darn. And it's how you play in those 10 that you don't shoot worth the darn that usually determine your season. And this is one of those days that, heck, we don't go 16 for 25 in shooting drills, from three. So I was surprised. We just got it going, and you have those days, but you also have days where the ball just doesn't go in, and you got to grind them out, and that was the case for them. I think the first half they were 2 for 11 from three, or they had some pretty good looks that didn't go down.
Considering that you're not always going to shoot it that good, what was your impression of the defense?
Our activity the first half was really good. I mean, our guys were flying around, and we didn't make too many mistakes, and we made one, and Markham got a real clean look on top, but it went in and out. I mean, we were just fortunate. We made a big mistake there. We weren't going to give him that shot, and we lucked out. He got an open one in the second half, but I think because he never got into a rhythm, it hurt his productivity. But I liked our activity. I thought it was really good. I thought we fought the dribble better. Jordan, Chris, Cavell did a nice job protecting the rim. So, no, I thought our defense was really good, and we out rebounded, and we stayed right there with them on the boards. And then points off the turnovers, 30-10. That was a big difference.
With a start like that, we just kind of extended. You guys had the lull maybe around the half, but then you came out in the second half. It seemed like able to kind of get that same energy back.
We played poorly the last 4 minutes of the half. Our ball movement wasn't nearly as good. We had some turnovers. We didn't score, and went 38-11 to 38-18, and we didn't play well that last 4 minutes. So that really concerned me. And then we come out second half, and they get 2 goals right at the basket. So that 11-0 run, did have me concerned, but. Then we got a couple more shots to go, and the energy picked up again, and those turnovers. We got easy baskets off of them in the second half, and I thought that was really important.
Both Tyler and Dylan said that was, excuse me, the most fun they've had playing game basketball in a while. Is that the case for you as well, or do you still get pretty?
Well, they had fun because the ball was going in the basket. That's the fun part of it. But I think you also have some gratification when you're playing really hard and playing well together defensively. The fun part of the game is shooting and scoring, but the toughness things, that's the gratifying thing. When you guard and you block people out and you go get rebounds, you dive on loose balls, you take charges, that's when you feel good about what you did. Chris taking a charge there late, all those things, and I think that's why they had fun. yeah, the ball's going in, that makes it, but, flying around and not giving up easy baskets, that makes you feel good too.
Don't you go into the locker room 20-point lead at halftime? What's your message at that point?
Well, there's a lot of game left, and they're an explosive team. They lead the league in scoring, and they're an explosive team, and so they get their three-point shooters going. And like I said, they scored the last 7 of the first half, so I had something to yell about then. And then they scored the first 2 buckets to start second half. So no, it was hey, we got to keep going. We got a lot of game left. They had a game earlier this year with USC at USC where they were up 23, and it went down to a 1-possession ball game with a minute to go. And when you have a team that's offensively gifted, you get concerned. And again, since we didn't finish the half well, I was concerned.
They're so big in the paint. What was your game plan going in? Your transition was really good today too.
Well, we did want to run and get some easy ones there. We thought, that we weren't going to match their size. They start the 2 7-footers, and Jordan 6'9" and Dylan 6'6", were our 2 biggest guys, and then we got 3 little guards running around out there, and so we weren't going to match their size. So we wanted to spread the floor as much as we could, and try to create some opportunities by driving and kicking. And our coaching staff felt before the game we knew we had to hit some threes, because if we weren't that size inside, and their guards are big and athletic, if we turn it into a scrum just inside the lane, I don't think we'll like the results. We had to get that floor spread so we could use a little of our quickness. And then, like I said, the ball went in, which spreads the floor even more and created even more opportunities to drive.
Do you guys feel like you have to run the table now because if they have one loss?
Oh, absolutely. No. I told our guys, we've got 5 road games. We got to go to UCLA, USC, Stanford, Cal, Oregon State, and we got Colorado and Utah at home. So we by far, we've got much tougher schedule than what they have. We had to win today and I told our guys that this morning. I said, fellas, to be honest, we got to win the game today or it's over. And it really would have been. And like I said, we still got our work cut out for us. They're still the front runner. They've got to go to Washington State and Arizona State, and they got 4 home games. We got 5 road games and only 2 at home. And the 2 at home are Colorado and Utah. We're still fighting for an NCAA berth. So not even close. They still got the lead. One game is 1 of 31, and it's 1 of 18. I'm sure, Sean, they'll just flush that game and go on. Heck, he's going into today. They accomplished so much, and they're going to accomplish a lot more. They're a Final Four team. I know it didn't look like it today, but you hit 16 threes and you go 10 for 14. Anybody done that to us, we'd have been the same way. And it's just one of those days. But Sean is. He'll have them back, and they'll be ready to go next week. And he's done a remarkable job this year. I know a lot of people are talking about National Coach of the Year, and he should be. He's done a tremendous job, and we know they're still in the lead. We still got to catch them.
When you shook his hand, he actually smiled at you and said something. What did he say? Did he say, "Oh my goodness"?
No, we go back a long way. I've like I said, Xavier and Creighton, we played there, and we played them when Thad was there, and then Sean took over, and those Jesuits, we played each other a lot, and we've developed a rivalry here, and again, we've got great respect for what they've accomplished. These 3 Final 8s, and they've kind of led the league. And 7 years ago, our comments always been, and when we recruit somebody, are they good enough to help us beat Arizona? And that's still where we're at. They're putting recruiting classes together that are off the charts, but there hasn't been a more consistent program over the 7 years that I've been here. And so again, if we're going to be successful, we got to continue to recruit players that play against those guys, and And then we got to continue to develop guys, you know. Chris and Dylan and those guys, they weren't given as much respect out of high school as we felt they should have been, or junior college, and our guys have developed. You know, Casey's done a tremendous job, and you know, we've been really fortunate guys that want to be here and want to get better, and they're sacrificing for the team. You know, Casey Benson last year was a starter, and I made a decision to change things around, and Casey is all about the team. Chris Boucher, all about the team. We got guys that want to win, and you know, that's when you're fortunate as a coach, when you got guys that are really talented that, hey, it's about the team, and they want to win. We got 7 starters, you know, and you saw today a little bit of what Cavell is capable of doing, and it's just that Jordan Bell's playing so well, it's hard to sometimes get him out.
And longest home court winning streak in the nation now, what does that mean to you?
Kansas, I didn't know they got beat. You know, it means that, you know, for 2 years that our guys have played hard at home, and our crowds have been really good to us. You don't develop a home winning atmosphere without really good players, but really good fans. And our core group has been unbelievable. Now we've added some, you know, and that's great. But the group that's always been with us, they've been unbelievable. And you know, a couple years ago when Arizona popped us here, you know, that year they dominated us, you know, but we kept playing, and you know, they were just better than us that year. But today was just one of those days where the ball goes in, and you know, we hope to see him again, because if we do see him again, you know, it's would be late in the tournament, and that would be a lot of fun too.
Did you have to, you know, talk to the students about throwing that stuff?
Yeah, that's not good. You know, that I want to. Hey, they were so good, but to do that, and then, you know, if we bat the ball out of bounds or delay of game or anything, it's technical on us. And you know, hey, the students are great, but we can't do that. That takes away from the game, and it takes away from the great enthusiasm they gave us.
Anything else?
All right, thank you.